Hi, everyone. It's Denise Brown from the Caregiving Years Training Academy. As you know, we've put forth 3 recommendations for states to use their enhanced federal funding to support and help those who care for a family member. And they are called family caregivers. And we are recommending that states fund programs that compensate family caregivers, that provide counseling to family caregivers, and that provide a break to family caregivers. So it's about compensating, counseling, and giving a break. This morning, I was in a meeting with an organization that's interested in becoming part of our informal advocacy efforts, and they asked me some great questions about the reason why I picked these 3 recommendations. And I thought it would be helpful for you to hear the reason why. In March, a colleague, Lance Robertson, reached out and asked me to start doing some advocacy work around family caregiver issues. He could see what was coming and there were opportunities coming. And so he wanted to see what we could do to raise awareness so that we could really and truly help family caregivers. So I started doing research around what's the solution to the big problem during a caregiving experience, and that is money. When I ran an online caregiving community for just about 24 years, the question that people asked all the time was, how do I get paid for doing this? There are some state programs, if your carry qualifies for Medicaid, that will pay the family caregiver, and they are consumer directed programs, which means that the carry basically determines who receives payment for providing care. And so the carry can designate a family member to become that paid provider of care. So we want to increase funding into those programs. And this morning, one of my colleagues asked during this meeting, well, what happens if the funding for that program goes away? And sure, there's always a chance that funding for programs that we recommend will go away. But here's the reason why it matters today to fund these programs. So in March, when I was thinking about how do we solve this financial crunch that happens during a caregiving experience, I started looking at universal basic income. And I learned about a pilot program in Stockton, California, where participants received a monthly amount of money. And that money changed their life because they were able to put gas in the car to get to work. They were able to take the bus to get to work. They were able to buy the appropriate clothes to feel like, okay, I can interview for a job. So it was an investment in their future. And that's what I think about when we compensate family caregivers. It's an investment in their future. We know that this Stockton program worked. We know that lives were changed when they received a stipend, so to speak, every month. It was universal basic income. We already know that individuals who provide care are providing care, right? So they're already working in the house. We already know that there's a direct care workforce shortage. So let's say that my parents are on Medicaid. And because I can't find anyone to hire that they could hire to help them, I become the person that helps them. But if there's not a program in my state that reimburses me, I just help them. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't help out of the goodness of our heart. But let's face it, it is hard work. Why aren't we compensated for this hard work? Especially because we know how hard it is to hire help, to find help. So even programs that allow you to actually find help, you're not actually paying for it. It's still hard. It's still hard. So family members more than ever are stepping up to provide care. And if we can compensate for that, we can change their life. And even if the funding only lasts for a year, we have changed their life. Because if you remove the stress of finances, you are changing the well being of an individual's life. And if you are a family caregiver, you are already facing the stress of the emotions of caregiving because it's something we experience every day. We are feeling guilty and worried and stressed. And then add in on that money, and it's too much. If we can take that money worry away, then we can help move into, okay, how else can we help you? When we remove the money worries, then we can move into the other two recommendations, providing counseling, giving them regular breaks. It all ties together. This is a start. This isn't the whole solution for everyone, right? Because we know that there's millions of Americans who are not receiving services through a Medicaid program. We know that, but this is the start, right? This is our opportunity to really get help and support for family caregivers on the map, to really prove that it makes a difference, to prove that when we support and help family caregivers, we change the well-being of a caree and a family caregiver. One of the things that I really started worrying about in March was, what are we going to do when millions of family caregivers reach the end of their caregiving experience and they have no money and they have poor health? What are we going to do? This is our opportunity to change that. When we invest in family caregivers today, we can change their future. That's why it's so important not to worry about whether or not the funding goes away, but to take advantage of the funding now. So you can be a part of this effort. It's very easy. You could take 10 minutes today and reach out to your state's Medicaid director, Department on Aging, and Director of Behavioral Health. We actually have all the messaging that you can use. There's an email message that you can take advantage of. It's the email message that I sent all last week, and it's available in our toolkit. And you can access our toolkit at careyearsacademy.com/funding. 10 minutes. You can really change the lives of family caregivers when you send emails to your state's Director of Medicaid Programs, Director of Aging Services, and Director of Behavioral Health Services. Let them know that you believe the best way to use these enhanced federal dollars is by supporting and helping family caregivers. And when we start making a difference in the Medicaid system, we can start making a difference outside that system. It's possible. Let's all get together to make a difference. Okay, thanks so much for watching. And thanks so much for all that you do. I so appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye.